All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever asked yourself, why am I always so tired? I mean, you get what feels like a full night of sleep, but you still wake up feeling completely drained. Well, if that's you, you're in the right place. We're going to unpack the science behind all of that and actually build a practical guide to help you finally feel rested. So yeah, this is the big one, right? This is the central question. You put in the time. You're in bed for 7, 8, maybe even 9 hours. But when that alarm goes off, you feel like you barely slept a wink. If you're nodding along right now, listen up, because the problem probably isn't about the number of hours you're in bed. It's about what's really going on during those hours. And just to give you a sense of how widespread this stuff is, get this. A full 80%, that's 4 out of every 5 people with sleep apnea, which is a pretty serious sleep disorder, have absolutely no clue they even have it. It's just one of these, these invisible thieves that can be stealing your good sleep every single night without you even knowing. Okay, so how in the world do we start to figure out what's actually going wrong? Well, we need a way to think about it, a framework. You know how with nutrition people talk about macros, right? Carbs, protein, fat. Well, sleep expert Matt Walker says we can think about sleep the same way. There are 4 macros of sleep, and this is going to be our personal toolkit for figuring this all out. And here it is. It's called the QQRT framework. Super simple. It stands for quantity, quality, regularity, and timing. Now, quantity, that's the one we all know. Are you getting those 7 to 9 hours? Easy enough. Quality is about how good that sleep actually is. Is it deep? Is it uninterrupted? But honestly, it's those last 2, regularity and timing, where things get really interesting. This is where some of the biggest aha moments happen for people. Okay, get ready for this, because this one might blow your mind a little. All the research is pointing to this. Regularity, I mean going to bed and waking up at the exact same time every single day, and yes, that includes weekends, might actually be more important for your health, even your lifespan, than just getting 8 hours of sleep. Think about that for a second. It's a total game changer in how we should think about sleep. Now, we've got to be super clear about the difference between these two because it's so important. So regularity is just about consistency. You could go to bed at 2 a.m. and wake up at 10 a.m. every single day. Boom, that's perfect regularity. But timing is about whether that schedule works with your body's internal clock, your chronotype. Are you a morning person or a night owl? Because if that person who sleeps from 2 to 10 is naturally a morning lark, their timing is a disaster. And even with perfect regularity, they're going to feel terrible. All right, so now we have our framework, our QQRT lens. Let's put on our detective hats. We're going to go investigate the top 3 usual suspects, the things that absolutely destroy our sleep quality and regularity, and a lot of the time, we don't even have a clue it's happening. So let's start with that one we touched on earlier, sleep apnea. And listen to this quote from Matt Walker because it is intense, but it paints such a vivid picture. He says, "Imagine if I were to come into your bedroom, and every hour I'm going to throttle you to the point where you actually stop breathing, 10 times every hour for every one of the 8 hours." Wow. That's what even mild sleep apnea is like. It's literally like being choked 80 times a night. I mean, of course you'd wake up exhausted. It's an absolute wrecking ball for your sleep quality. Okay, on to suspect number 2, good old caffeine. And look, we all do it, right? You have a cup of coffee at noon to get through the afternoon slump. You figure, hey, I'm not going to bed until midnight. That's a full 12 hours away, so what's the harm? What could possibly be the issue? Well, this is the issue, and it's so perfectly laid out here. So caffeine has what's called a half-life, which is about 6 hours. That means if you have that coffee at noon, by 6 p.m., half of it is still in your system. But here's the kicker. It also has a quarter life of about 12 hours. So at midnight, when you're trying to wind down, a full quarter of that caffeine is still sloshing around in your brain. It's literally acting like a bouncer, blocking you from getting into the deep, restorative sleep club your body is desperate to join. And that brings us to our third suspect, and this might be the most misunderstood one of them all: alcohol. So many people believe a glass of wine or a beer before bed helps them sleep. But let's be really clear. Alcohol is not a sleep aid. It's a sedative, and sedation is not sleep. All it's really doing is knocking out your brain's main control center. It's like flipping a light switch off instead of letting the sun set naturally. It's not guiding your brain into the healthy, regenerative sleep it needs. Actually, it does the exact opposite of helping. First, alcohol totally fragments your sleep. You'll have all these tiny little awakenings all night long that you won't even remember, but they break up your sleep cycles.
Second, it actually fires up your fight or flight nervous system. So while you're trying to rest, your body is on high alert. And maybe most importantly, it's one of the most powerful blockers of REM sleep, your dream sleep, that we know of. And that's the sleep you need for your emotional and mental health, for creativity, for everything.
Okay, so we've diagnosed some of the big problems. Enough of the bad news, right? Let's talk about solutions. It's time to build your actionable sleep toolkit. I'm talking about real, practical things you can start doing, like tonight, to get back in the driver's seat of your sleep.
All right, I've got a simple experiment for you. A challenge, really. A big problem is we live in what some experts call a dark, deprived society. So for just 1 week, try this. An hour before you want to go to sleep, just dim the lights. I mean, dramatically. Turn off 50, maybe 75% of the lights in your house. And just pay attention. See how much sleepier you feel. Then, the next week, go back to normal. Blast the lights like you usually do, and see if it feels different. It's such a powerful way to feel for yourself how much light is controlling your brain.
Oh, this one. The 3 a.m. wake-up call. We've all been there, right? Your eyes pop open, it's pitch black, and your mind just starts racing. That anxiety Rolodex starts flipping through every single worry, every to-do list item you have. It's the worst. So what do? What's the plan?
Okay, rule number 1, and this is non-negotiable. Do not look at the clock. Seriously, it just adds fuel to the anxiety fire. The whole goal here is to get your mind to stop focusing on the fact that you're awake. So you could try meditating, some deep breathing exercises, a body scan. You could even listen to a kind of boring podcast or a sleep story. The trick behind all of this is to stop trying to force sleep. Instead, you're just creating a calm, quiet space for sleep to find you again.
So far, we've been talking all about you and your personal health, but the story of sleep deprivation is actually much, much bigger than that. So let's pull the camera back for a minute and see why getting your sleep right doesn't just matter for you, it matters for everyone around you. It literally impacts our relationships, our communities, even our whole society.
And let's start right down at the genetic level. This is wild. One study took a group of healthy people and just limited them to 6 hours of sleep a night for 1 week. That's it. And in that 1 week, the activity of over 700 of their genes was distorted. I'll say that again, 711 genes. The good ones, the ones that help your immune system, they got turned down. And the bad ones, genes linked to stress, to inflammation, even to promoting tumors, they got turned up. All from just 1 week of not quite enough sleep.
And that mess at the genetic level, it shows up immediately in how we treat other people. The research is crystal clear on this. When you don't get enough sleep, you pull away from others. You feel lonelier. And here's the crazy part, your desire to help other people just tanks. It falls off a cliff. Not getting enough sleep literally makes us more selfish.
And look, this isn't just some weird thing they found in a lab. Scientists proved it in the real world. They looked at a giant database of millions of charitable donations, and they found that in the week right after daylight savings time starts, when we all lose 1 hour of sleep, charitable giving across the entire United States drops by 10%. A 10% drop. That tiny bit of sleep loss spread across a whole country literally makes us a less kind, less generous society. You can measure it.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's this. Sleep is not a luxury. It's not something you can get by without. It is a non-negotiable biological necessity. It's an investment in your physical health, in your mental health, and, as we've seen, in our shared humanity. I love this final thought. The best bridge between despair and hope is a good night of sleep. And you know what? Sometimes the most powerful, productive thing you can do to get ready for whatever tomorrow brings is just to close your eyes and get a great night of sleep tonight.